County Executive Bellone, thanks so much for being here on New York Now. We really appreciate you being here.
It's great to be with you, Dan. Thank you.
So every county of the state is going to take some sort of financial hit from COVID-19. We know that because of revenue losses, but Suffolk County, your county, is in a really unique position because a lot of your economy comes from tourism and revenue because you're a tourist destination. At the same time, not everybody's going to be able to pay their property taxes this year. Tell me what that means for the future of your county right now, looking into the immediate future.
Well, county governments are in many ways largely reliant on the sales tax, which is very responsive to any issues with the economy. So when we see a recession, downturns, county governments get impacted. The property tax is a much more stable tax, but we're likely to see some impact there as well. But because we're so reliant on the sales tax, something like this, an unprecedented event in which the response was essentially to shut down the economy, the numbers that we're looking at are cataclysmic. They're not numbers you see in a downturn. It's literally falling off a cliff. We had a group of independent municipal finance experts do an analysis, and we're looking at anywhere from a $1.1 to $1.5 billion budget hole.
The governor is also warning that without federal aid to the state level, he might have to make cuts to local governments as much as 20%. How does that play into this? Have your projections considered that, or is that something down the line that you're also going to have to deal with in figuring out what you're going to do moving forward?
Well, I think that's exactly right. If the state does not get relief, that is going to trickle down to us as well and cause impacts there. So we need state and local governments to get relief. We were one of the hardest hit places anywhere in the country. And from my perspective, this really is no different than another natural disaster as if we had gotten hit by, say, a Category 5 hurricane. The only difference would be that this hurricane stayed for 2 months instead of passing over in 24 hours. The federal government, of course, is going to respond in that kind of crisis, we assume. And I expect that to happen here. And that's why we've really been working with our federal representatives. We need them to deliver at this moment in crisis, because if that federal relief does not come, what we are looking at is essentially a hollowing out of the government, the level of government here, county governments, that deliver public health, social services, health services, and public safety. And I don't think anyone believes that we can afford to do that as we just begin this recovery, which is going to take years.
Let's look at a worst case scenario that you kind of just laid out. A worst case scenario of this would be that you don't get any federal funding and you get those cuts from the state and you're losing all of the sales tax revenue and it's just a perfect storm. What do you do as county executive in your county government? How do you move forward as a government?
We send billions more to Washington every year from Long Island. We do that as a state as a whole. It is in the national interest that we recover quickly, not over the next decade, that we recover as quickly as possible. But without that federal relief, you're talking about really gutting out this government. And this will be the case across governments across the state because the resources aren't there. The revenues simply are not there. And I think that would be something that dramatically extends the pain and the devastation that has occurred already to people. And it's something that we can't afford to see happen.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you about nursing homes in Suffolk County. You had the most nursing home deaths of any county in the state. Obviously, you had more COVID-19 deaths in general than a lot of counties in the state. Why do you think that nursing home deaths were so concentrated in Suffolk County? And was there anything that could have prevented that from happening, in your opinion?
Well, we were not aware, I think, right from the start, because of a lack of testing, that the virus was already here. Our first case really came out of a nursing home. That's the first positive case in the county. And at that time, we were still tracing, because this is the information we're receiving from the federal government through the state health department, that we were contact tracing people coming from China. The reality is we know now that the virus had already spread throughout the county. We just didn't know it because there hadn't been any testing at that point. And so when that virus is coming into a nursing home where you have a group of literally the most vulnerable people to the virus, older residents, but also people with underlying medical conditions. Obviously, that's going to have a devastating impact. The state came in, protocols were put in place. We were communicating with our nursing homes on a daily basis, but it's just a tragic, tragic circumstance that this virus ruthlessly attacks that generation, and our nursing homes suffered as a result. But I know many of them were working right from the beginning to implement those state protocols. But we will see. I think we'll look back on this and see what could have been done better moving forward.
All right, we will leave it there. Suffolk County Executive Steve Bellone, thanks so much for being here this week.
Thanks. Great to be with you, Dan.